Greetings from BB Max.
And welcome to our show.
Today we're doing things a little differently. We're just doing it from the top of our heads. So we're going to start with a little bit about ourselves. And what was the day that we met?
The luckiest day of our lives.
Yes.
Was actually at work.
Yeah, it was at work. And it was the luckiest day of our lives that we met.
It was awesome that we met.
And we've been very lucky in that. And going on from that, we've had 40 years together.
Almost. Next month.
Next month is 40 years together. And it's also been very frustrating seeing all the wonderful things we have in life and all the wonderful things we can do. And what are we doing?
Most of the time, people are like, oh, fuss about this, fuss about that. You know, instead of being grateful about all the things we have, all the inventions and all the modern,
Right, the modern things that we have. We should be dancing in the streets with all the amenities that we have.
Yes.
Like we have electricity, we have running water, we have heat in our homes. What else do we have?
We have cars that even know if you're crossing the line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We just know how to drive anyway, but they have it.
All kinds of things that people didn't have. Even and America's 250th birthday. Happy birthday, America.
Yes, happy birthday. I even got my little picture.
Yeah. And so all these things that we have that they didn't have back then. We should be dancing in the streets instead of arguing and fighting and everything. I'm going to take the time to get in a good point for a national organization working to depolarize our country. I know we've spoken about these people before.
Yes.
But we need to do it again. We need to work together. So if you follow politics, you'll know that blue is for liberals, red is for conservatives. Instead of bashing each other, we need to work together. We've done it before, we can do it again. And what's a great example of having done it before?
It was when years ago there were people that were Democrats and Republicans that actually talked to each other, and they didn't say, oh, you did this and you did that. They said, no, let's do this and let's get this done.
Right.
I have this idea and I have this idea, and they
compromise.
Yeah.
I think it was Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill, one famous pair that got along. They were on opposite sides of the political spectrum, but they got along and they got things done. But I was thinking a little bit further back in time, the Constitutional Convention of 1787.
Yes, over in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, and what time of year was it?
It was in the summertime, and they didn't have air conditioning, but they wanted the windows closed so that they could just discuss it themselves. They didn't want any people eavesdropping and things.
Right. No air conditioning, the windows all closed and everything. And you had back then, it was basically the larger population states versus the smaller population states. Those were the two differing parties, or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't liberals and conservatives. And there was, unfortunately, a little bit about slavery in there as well. You had slave states and non-slave states. Mostly it was the population-wise. And the smaller states felt that they would get outnumbered and whatever by the bigger states. So they were concerned about that. And that's how we ended up with the House of Representatives being, how many is in there? 435, I think?
Something like that. They have to have representation from each state, and it's not fair. In different states, especially with different populations, they have different needs.
Right.
So they had to consider that, too.
Yeah. So the smaller population states were worried that the bigger population states would outnumber them in the House of Representatives, with each state getting a proportion of the representatives there. So they came up with the Senate, where each state, no matter the size of the population, gets 2 senators. And that was the compromise. That's what they did. They were,
it's part of how it worked.
Right.
They helped it work.
I don't like to say they were arguing. They were discussing, and sometimes it did get a heated discussion, but they got along well and they got it done because they compromised. They would have discussions all day in that hot building with no AC, and then they would go out to a tavern for supper together, even though they were discussing and say, "Well, I don't like that idea," but and they got together afterwards and they stayed on friendly terms and got it done. We can do that again, and one of the best ways to do that, I think, is for people to consult their conscience more. People aren't doing that nowadays.
Yeah, and think of how would I feel if this was done to me, or or if they said this to me, or they got to consider that stuff because it helps the whole get along and get stuff done better that way.
Yeah, far too many people today let the love of money, power, control, and influence overcome their conscience. They just kind of push the conscience to the side and say, well, you know, the way things are nowadays, it doesn't really matter that much. It does. That's why we're in such a mess.
Yeah.
When you follow your conscience, you're more likely to follow the golden rule as well.
That's right.
And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but yeah, it is unfortunate. When you ask people if you follow the golden rule, oh, of course I do, but you know, you're driving down.
They're in traffic and they cut somebody else off and things, and they wouldn't want to be cut off in traffic, but they do it.
Right, right. So people need to pay more attention to your conscience. Kind of think of it as a clear conscience is a great feeling. You don't have to worry, oh, somebody's going to get back at me for this or back at me for that.
That's right, or be in trouble for something.
Right, right, exactly. And that's what people need to do. Consult your conscience more often. Live by your conscience. Live by the golden rule. That's what we need to do more of. Set aside your love of money, power, and control and influence, and consult your conscience more often. And that's what we really need to do. But another thing we want to talk about today is, and this is really cool, we went there in June of 23, was it?
I forget exactly what year, but yeah, we went to the Statue of Liberty. We went to Ellis Island and what's the other one called?
Liberty Island. It's called Liberty Island now, where the statue itself is.
Right, yes.
Yeah, Ellis Island is where the immigrants landed, where they were processed there, yeah. So the Statue of Liberty here. And the people of France gave us that because they saw the potential that we had. They saw what we had done.
They saw how we even abolished slavery, which was huge.
Yeah. They saw that they had tried to emulate what we had done with the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. They saw that. They really liked what we had done. And they tried to do it themselves, but they didn't get very far.
Because everybody that took over had the same thing. They got all in love with power and control and all that stuff. And that's why it didn't work. You can't do that.
Right, right. But they were watching us and seeing how we were doing. They were not happy with slavery. They didn't allow slavery in France, and they weren't happy about that. But everything else, pretty much, they loved. They really thought we were doing great, and they tried to emulate us for what we were doing. And then when we got rid of slavery, that put them up. That very much inspired them to give us the Statue of Liberty. And who paid for the Statue of Liberty?
The people of France. That wasn't even the government. The people all pitched in. Everybody gave a little bit of money, and it all added up.
Yep.
And the American people paid for the pedestal for it to be on. And they even had at the foot of the statue broken shackles to symbolize the abolishing of slavery.
Yep, the chain and shackles broken there. You can't see it here on this little model here, but it's there. A lot of people don't notice it because it's up on the pedestal and you can't see that from the ground. You really can't see it a whole lot. But it's there, symbolizing the abolishing of slavery. And they did that. And the statue itself is there are many replicas throughout the world because it's so inspirational. And there's many replicas around the world. I think there's one in Japan, there's one in Paris, all throughout the world. Of course, they're not as big as the ones.
No, but it all symbolizes liberty, enlightening the world.
And that's the actual name of the statue, Liberty Enlightening the World.
Yes, it is.
And there's a sonnet by Emma Lazarus, I believe her name is. And it starts off, give me you're tired, you're poor, and I forget what else there. But the last line is, I lift my lamp beside the golden door, symbolizing the statue lifting the torch there beside the golden door. And the golden door is into liberty in this country. That's what the people of France saw, the potential of what we could do in our country and lead by example to enable liberty to
enlighten the world.
The entire world. And we can do this. We can do this when people, our biggest enemy, whether you're liberal or conservative, is not each other. Our biggest enemy is rancor, divisiveness, bitterness. They're winning big time. And also...
it's true. The division is not going to help us. That makes it fall. It's true. The united we stand.
Right.
It's not just a saying, it's true.
Right, right. And another enemy is the love of money, power, and control and influence. And that's winning big time now. And what we need...
Well, being influential itself can be good
It can be,
if you're
yes,
trying it
yeah.
in a positive way.
Right, right, yes, yes, yep, good point. Good point there, very good point. That if you're an influencer, you want to be doing positive. And another thing too, people need to stop thinking because when we say grace, one of the things we say is for everyone in the world to learn to live together in peace, live by the golden rule, and live in a country whose government is truly by the people, of the people, by the people, for the people. Yes, we do. And now when you say that, what do people ought to say sometimes?
Oh, some of them have an ant thing, which
Right.
is an automatic negative thought. When they say, oh, it's not going to make... Well, if you think like that, well, yeah, you
Right.
have to think of it and say, yeah, everybody work together and each think positively about
Right.
it, and it can work.
Right. And they should be saying, instead of saying, oh, that'll never work, they should be thinking, what can I do to help get this to do? Help get this
It's
happen.
like making a little bit of a contribution to something.
Right.
It's helping, being positive and trying to actually do something towards something good.
Right. What can I do to make this work? And what you can do is to consult your conscience. Live by the golden rule. Push aside the love of money, power, and control. Push those things aside. Pay attention to your conscience. Live by your conscience and the golden rule.
Yes, that's a much better way for everyone.
Yeah. And as I was saying, the Statue of Liberty is known throughout the world. And there's one thing, I'd like to mention this. This is the Ho Chi Minh story. He was, Ho Chi Minh was born in Vietnam. He studied in France for a few years and came to America, and he was studying the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. He loved those. He thought they were really great.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Great concept.
Oh, yes. Principles, that's what we need to get back to as well. Getting back to the principles our country was founded on. Are we perfect?
Oh, no one's going to be perfect, but if you work together, you can have a much better society, a much stronger society.
So our country is not perfect. What I'm trying to say is that it's not perfect. No, it's not. But we've worked on things before. We abolished slavery. We gave women the right to vote. That should have been long before that. But
yes.
We've recognized our mistakes and we've done something about it. When we can work together, we can do something about these things. Instead of fighting about it, let's work together and get it done. Compromise. We can do that. But the Statue of Liberty is known throughout the world. And Ho Chi Minh, the quote that he did, because he was in Vietnam after World War II, the Japanese had conquered, they kicked the French out of Vietnam. Before World War II, Vietnam was a colony of France, and the Japanese came along and invaded, and they kicked the French out. After the war, when the French were kicked out, the Japanese were kicked out, the Vietnamese wanted their own country. And
which they deserve.
Right. And Ho Chi Minh was hoping that the United States would help them to be able to do that. We sided with the French. And he was not happy about that at all. So what did he say?
He says, what, does the statue stand on our head?
Yeah.
Because it went against the principles
of our country. That was a difficult decision. We had just had France as an ally in a major war, a very horrible war. So that was a difficult decision, but I can understand where he was coming from.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should have stayed out of it. I don't know, but...
Right, but so what we need to do, and this is where we need to work together to get back to the principles our country was founded on so that liberty can enlighten the entire world.
Yes, that would be better for everyone on the whole planet.
Yes, that's what we really need to do. We need to start working together again and return our country to being the United States of America.
Yes.
Yeah.
Works much better that way.
Right, when we're united, yeah, that's right. Thank you for your time today. We'll be back again soon.